Do you want to learn how to write prompts that get results with AI assistants? I'm going to share 10 of the most important tips for writing effective AI prompts, especially for beginners. Whether you're a complete beginner or an experienced AI assistant user, this video will teach you how to write prompts that get results. So let's get started. Tip number 10, have fun. Experimenting with different AI assistant prompts can be a lot of fun. Try using your imagination and coming up with creative prompts to see what kind of responses you can generate. Tip number 9, be patient and persistent. AI assistants are still under development, and they may not always be able to generate the perfect response. If you're not satisfied with the first response that you generate, try adjusting your prompt and generating a few more responses. Tip number 8, avoid prompts that are cliched or overused. For example, don't ask the AI writer to write about a love triangle or a character who is trying to find themselves. This prompt is cliched because it has been used in countless stories and movies. It is also fairly unrealistic, and it can be difficult to write a fresh and original story on this topic. Instead, write a story about a girl who falls in love with a creature that is not human, but is still capable of love and compassion. This prompt is more original and interesting. It is also more open-ended, which gives the writer more creative freedom. Tip number 7, avoid prompts that are unfair or biased. Don't ask the writer to write about a topic that they may not have any knowledge about or that they may find offensive. For example, write a story about a person who is homeless. This prompt is unfair if the AI writer has no experience with homelessness. They may write a story that is inaccurate or insensitive. Instead, ask AI to write a story about a person who is experiencing financial hardship. Tip number 6, make sure your expectations for the response are clear. Do you want the writer to be creative and original? Do you want them to follow a specific format? Do you want them to write in a specific style? Make sure your prompt communicates your expectations to the writer. For example, write a poem. This prompt doesn't specify what kind of poem you want the writer to write. Do you want a sonnet, a haiku, a free verse poem? Make your expectations clear. For example, write a free verse poem about a time when you felt lost. Tip number 5, grammatical errors in the prompt will make it difficult for the writer to understand what you're asking them to do. Make sure your prompt is well written and free of errors. For example, write a story about a boy whose dog goes missing. This prompt has a grammatical error. The subject of the sentence is boy, but the verb goes is in the third person singular, which should be go to agree with the subject. Use this instead. Write a story about a boy whose dog goes missing. Tip number 4, if you don't give the writer enough instruction or guidance, their response may be off-topic or irrelevant. Give the writer just enough information to know what you're looking for, but don't be too specific. For example, write something. This prompt is too vague. The AI writer doesn't know what kind of writing you're looking for or what topic you want them to write about. Use this instead. Write a paragraph about a topic that interests you. This prompt is more specific, and it gives the writer a better idea of what you're looking for. Tip number 3, if you give the writer too much instruction or guidance, their response will be less creative and original. Give the writer just enough information to get them started, and then let them use their imagination. For example, write a story about a character who is lost in a forest. They come across a mysterious stranger who offers to help them find their way back home. But the stranger has a dark secret. This prompt is too specific. It tells the AI writer exactly what to write about and how to write it. Try this instead. Write a story about a lost character who meets a stranger in the woods. This prompt is more open-ended, and it gives the writer more creative freedom. Tip number 2, if your prompt is unrealistic or impossible, the AI assistant will either be unable to complete it or will come up with a response that is unrealistic or impossible itself. For example, write a story about a world where dogs can talk. This prompt is unrealistic, and it's likely that the writer will come up with a story that is full of plot holes and inconsistencies. Instead, try this. Write a story about a world where dogs can talk, but only to their owners. This prompt is more realistic and it gives the writer a clear set of parameters to work within. And last but not least, tip number 1. A vague or ambiguous prompt will lead to a vague or ambiguous response. Make sure your prompt is clear and specific and that it leaves no room for interpretation. For example, write a poem about love. This prompt is too vague. What kind of love are you talking about? Romantic love? Platonic love? Familial love? The poem could go in any number of directions, and it's hard to know what the writer is trying to achieve. Try this instead. Write a poem about a time when you felt loved unconditionally. This prompt is more specific, and it gives the writer a clear direction to follow. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something useful from this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I love seeing your comments and answering your questions. See you in the next video.